Welcome back from that short commercial break. It's exactly 5 minutes past the hour of 9 a.m. And at this particular time, we're heading straight to the topical discussion. Like I told you earlier, we are looking at the crypto market, cryptocurrency. And of course, this follows the news a few days ago about FTX, one of the leading cryptocurrency exchange rates collapsing. And of course, we see the CEO, that's Bankman Fried, net worth was about 16 million US dollars, but when the collapse took place, it went back to zero. So what does that really signify? And of course, this has caused quite large amounts of threats to the crypto traders, but definitely we shall be discussing that to see whether it is really a safe way, whether it's a safe avenue regarding that. But we are looking at this aspect in regarding to Africa. What lesson do African crypto traders learn from the closure of FTX? Could it be a threat that other cryptocurrencies might also make the same fate? Well, of course, I'm with an expert with me right here. He's a commercial lawyer, and of course, he's not a new face here on SMART24 TV, and he's been always discussing matters regarding financial markets, and crypto kind of relates into that particular field. And with me on set, I'm with Louis Chizito, a commercial lawyer, to discuss this aspect of FTX closure. What lessons do African traders learn from this? Mr. Chizito, you're welcome.
Thank you for hosting me again. It's an honor to be here.
Very, very interesting. I know you're not new, but for the first time viewers, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Chizito Louis. I'm just a lawyer. There's nothing much to really discuss about my introductory stuff.
No, there's someone watching you for the first time.
No, but at least maybe the face and the name is enough.
All right, so Mr. Chizito, we are looking at the collapse of FTX. Let's get to understand does it really make the crypto space risky because one exchange rate has collapsed?
For starters, FTX was a cryptocurrency exchange. What do we mean by a cryptocurrency exchange? Okay, in simple terms, and I'm going to simplify it.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
In simple terms, a cryptocurrency exchange is like a forex bureau.
Okay.
Or for some of you who have gone to the stock market, they're like broker dealers. They don't operate like a functional stock market where you match buyers and traders, not necessarily. But you go there to put your fiat money, government issued money, and exchange it for crypto.
For crypto.
So that is how simply an exchange works. Now, FTX was the second largest cryptocurrency exchange, with I think the second biggest market capitalization, like the amount of tokens that issued.
Tokens, yeah.
Now, FTX had issued a token or its own currency called its own cryptocurrency. Okay.
Yeah.
Or a token, technically.
It's coin.
Called it's coin called FTT.
FTT. Okay.
Now, FTT was the coin for FTX on the exchange.
Okay.
What, in simple terms, might have, now here at this point people are just speculating, but what could have caused the problem is the company was structured in such a way that the CEO had another company called Alameda Research.
Okay.
Which was, it was more of a, similar to a hedge fund, it was more of a trading platform.
Okay. So he had two companies, or this was like
operating in one.
Operating in one. Okay.
And then before I even go very far, there were two FTXs. There's FTX US and then FTX.com.
Okay.
Now FTX US was one that was meant for US citizens.
Yes.
Because you know that the US market, crypto, is a little bit so regulated.
Okay.
Now, for FTX was in the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
Which caters for all of us.
FTX.com.
FTX.com, which was the biggest, what you call FTX International, which was the biggest component.
Okay.
It was domiciled in Bahamas.
Okay.
Now, it filed for bankruptcy. What we have on record and what the official news outlets are reporting is that this gentleman created this company, but alongside that company, another company called Alameda Research, which had shares in the same company.
Okay.
And that token, which I told you about, FTT, he lent it out to that subsidiary. You could call it a subsidiary. That entity that is within.
Okay.
So once he let out that money, inadvertently he was lending out the money of his customers. So once once I think what actually broke the straw that broke the camel's back was his competitor in Binance, who was an earlier shareholder in the same cryptocurrency exchange, put out a tweet saying that, I've looked at the books of this cryptocurrency exchange and I feel there is something here. Okay. I'm going to sell out the tokens, the FTT tokens that were issued by
the FTX.
The FTX.
Yes.
So when he triggered that, he did not have enough. People started doing what other people started rushing to cash out.
Okay.
So in the process, they had liquidity problems. They didn't have enough money to help everyone cash out. FTX.
Yeah.
So along the way, then the gentleman of Binance, the CEO, released a tweet saying we're going to look into this. We are possible buyers. But when they made some due diligence, they discovered they could not buy
all the FTTs.
They could not. They had already cashed out on the FTX earlier, but he could not bail out because by taking over the company as through an acquisition because it was a toxic company. So he let it fall. And then they filed for bankruptcy. I think last week they updated their filing in the US last night. Yeah. So they updated their filing for their bankruptcy proceedings. I think in Delaware, even in Bahamas, they also filed for bankruptcy.
Okay.
So people are now left to hold the dirty bag.
So can I say the FTT is normal?
Ideally, I don't think it's anymore because it's trading. When you go there, you will see it, but it has plummeted in value so badly.
Okay.
Because of a massive sell-off.
Oh.
Of course, when there's a massive sell-off, that means the price goes
the value will be down.
Means that very many people are willing to let it go. So
that means that's the best chance to buy plenty of them.
No, it's only because it's already in bankruptcy.
There is no hope of rise?
You see, right now, even what is there has been frozen by what you would call the liquidator that was appointed by the courts in the US and Bahamas.
Okay.
So it's not a viable investment because what is already there is frozen.
Okay.
Technically. Even the CEO of the exchange, Sam Bankman-Fried, he resigned.
Yeah, he did.
He resigned. So right now, when something goes into bankruptcy legally, they put how can I explain? They seize business technically.
Okay.
So the responsibility lies on the insolvency practitioner or the liquidator to run the shorts and pay off existing creditors so that once the debts are settled, if there's anything left to run or to go on as a business, it can proceed. But as we stand, it's they're in bankruptcy proceedings. Their lawyers updated their bankruptcy filings in the courts in the US, and I think in Bahamas also appointed a liquidator. So as it stands, only creditors matter now.
Creditors matter, right?
Those who owe the exchange money, or the exchange owes money rather.
Do you think they will be compensated?
Judging by history in this kind of bankruptcy proceedings, we're dealing with cryptocurrency exchanges. There is no good precedent.
I think this is the first crypto.
No, there are others that have collapsed, but they have been smaller by size, by market capitalization.
Right.
If you look at Mt. Gox that collapsed, I think in around 2014, up to today, the customers
have not yet
got their money. And the biggest mistake that people make, in crypto, we have centralized entities that are operating in a decentralized function. There's decentralized arena.
Okay.
Now, decentralized finance, cryptocurrencies form part of decentralized finance because it was formed as a way of not depending on financial intermediaries to transact. You don't have to go through a bank. You don't have to go through these trusted systems. But now you have these exchanges, like the recently defunct or collapsed FTX, that these are centralized in nature, and that's why people go to as a gateway to crypto.
Okay.
So what people do is that when they put their money on those exchanges to buy crypto, they leave their money on those exchanges.
Okay.
And yet, the safest thing to do...
So like they are saving their money there?
Yeah, which is not a good thing because legally, actually, even Celsius, another cryptocurrency exchange, collapsed earlier this year. When you look at the bankruptcy filings of Celsius, they stated that the cryptocurrency that they hold on your behalf does not belong to you.
Okay.
So what is advised is if you have any any crypto, do not store it on your exchange. Put it in what they call cold storage. In other words, you withdraw it and you store it in certain gadgets that make it look all in your wallet, in your private
Bitcoin wallet?
It could be your Bitcoin wallet. You store it privately, so it's not held for you on the behalf. Because, for instance, in the event that you have a collapse like of this nature, you never recover because, like I told you, Mount Gox collapsed in 2014, but up to date, no one has been paid. And if anything, if you are to be for the US segment, they might be paid, but not in full because you are an unsecured creditor.
Okay.
Those the people who hold priority in bankruptcy proceedings in case they are filed in court, who are supposed to be paid first, are those who are secured creditors who have some kind of instrument that shows that maybe I lent you money,
Yeah.
and this is the loan interest I have, or this is the debt instrument, what you call a security I have. But you as a trader, you are an unsecured creditor and you come below. So once they compensate the secured creditors and then with people who have contracts on the exchange or with the exchange, the creditors, rather the unsecured creditors who don't show anything like a document that they lent them money, or a secured creditor is a person who has a document that proves that, you know what, this person owes me money, and it's a direct document. But if you're an employee and if you are a customer of the exchange, you're an unsecured creditor. So you are compensated literally below after the secured creditors. And they have quite a number of secured creditors.
Okay.
So the chance of them being compensated is low. And given that the market value of their FTT token has been dropping,
okay,
it also means that what is left might not be worth.
You've talked about the market of the token dropping. There is this aspect, I was interacting with the crypto trader and he told me something that there is this thing whereby a coin, when it's losing the value, and when you check onto your different, probably you're using trading view to trade, and you see it's a negative, they call it float, when it's floating, and then before you know it, it disappears off the market.
I think what comes close, how can I explain this? I think even the same CEO of FTX had an interview with some news outlet and said that you can actually create some of these tokens out of thin air. You can create value out of thin air.
Now, that's the whole creating value. That's exactly.
Because now if you look at FTT,
yes,
this was something that was created out of thin air, and they used it. Now, they used it when they gave it to their customers, and you see, how can I explain this? Okay, let me just simplify this, because these crypto things are not, I don't want to go so high level.
I understand, and actually viewers, we are trying, I know it's a little complex, but we are trying to look at, I know there are traders that are trading crypto that are watching right now, and it's very important that you get this information, but we are going to do our best to break it down for you to ensure that you get this very well, because it's about you and your future. This is your finance. You could fall a victim in the future, so you could get something from here.
So this FTT was created out of thin air and then given to the customers. Now that was more of what you would call, they give you this token and then you can exchange that token for maybe valuable Bitcoin, which you can keep.
Okay.
With either with exchange or by yourself.
But
the CEO said that actually you can create these things out of thin air, and then they back them up. It goes back to what happened earlier, I think in 2018, 2019. There is what they call it US. There is a token or cryptocurrency called Tether.
I've heard about it.
Tether, I think, is the third largest after. It's after, I think it is Bitcoin, Ethereum, then Tether.
Must be Tether.
Number 3. Now, Tether had its fair share of conflict. Tether also was created out of thin air. So token, the honor that they promised people that we are going to create a token out of thin air, and for every Tether we create out of thin air, we have $1 backed.
Oh God.
In reserve. So if you want to exchange this Tether for Bitcoin, then you can go through Tether. In other words, you give us your dollars or shillings, you get Tether, and then with Tether you can get access to Bitcoin. And then maybe you store that in your cold storage or in your private wallet.
Okay.
That if you have any, if you hold.
Majority use Bitcoin.
Yeah, but that's the biggest cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So these people, what Tether was doing, they printed more Tether than they had dollars in reserve.
Oh, they created more.
At some point, actually, there's a paper that was released by a certain university professor. They were interrogating some of these issues. They were saying, why do you have, how much Tether is actually backed by real shillings. You told us it is 1-to-1, like for every dollar it's one tether. But then they are told, we can only back up to around 75% of the entire tether that is in circulation with real dollars.
They can only
so that means they're running a fractional reserve system, in that they keep a portion of the dollars to back the entire float.
Okay.
Tether they have
the share float. Okay.
So that creates questions of market manipulation, because again, like I've told you, the cryptocurrency market is very non-transparent. Just even leave the cryptocurrency exchanges. Let's look at the
Crypto itself.
Yeah. What determines the price of Bitcoin, for example?
We're coming to that actually. What determines the value?
Yeah. So I'm not going to go deep into that, but there's non-transparency. So some of these players like Tether, they can use a lot of their float to manipulate the price. They call them pump and dump schemes.
Okay.
You pump up the price, and when it's already up, you sell at a higher price, and then whoever is buying is the one that loses. Loses. So there's a lot of the price determination in this industry is still low, and that is why I think we shall come to that. Regulation for centralized players in this space.
Centralized players.
Like the exchanges, like the recently collapsed FTX, is very key.
Yes.
So regulators, Capital Markets Authority, Bank of Ghana, and Financial Intelligence Authority should really monitor this situation.
But Uganda would not yet adopted crypto like being.
We have not yet, but people are actually trading these things.
They are trading, but on their own risk in case of any.
But in our own issue, the thing is, some of these cryptocurrency exchanges have the capability to expose your currency to volatility. They do, because if many people are demanding for the shilling to do free cryptocurrency business. And if the demand is artificial, it can actually plunge up the value of the dollar, or even lower the value of the dollar. If there is so little demand for the shilling and everyone wants dollars, it can actually make sure that the dollar price goes up. So this volatility of cryptocurrency, because it's a volatile asset, once you expose it to it's exposed to your domestic currency, it can actually wreak havoc, especially for currencies like Uganda that are not globally traded.
Stable, yeah.
So it can. So that's why I think Bank of Uganda should be very interested.
Okay.
Because if you have people who are trading these things and are creating an artificial demand, it can create havoc. You find that at the end of the day, the demand for the shilling is up. Maybe the demand for dollars against the shilling, because some people may rather trade, some platforms may rather you do dollars, not shillings.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when these platforms raise the shillings, they want to maybe convert them into dollars in lump sum and then take the money out. So it tampers with your outflows.
Okay. Don't you think, like, since we talked about manipulations, I don't know whether it's a legal aspect. We're talking about that, like you say, that this crypto can expose the volatility of your currency, more so the shilling. But at the same time, because I believe these particular players, if we do favorable negotiation terms, is there a way it can be done in the favor of our shilling? Some way, somehow. Anything is possible in this market.
This is my view.
Yes.
In light of the collapse of FTX, cryptocurrency exchange,
Yeah.
the decentralized segment of crypto should not be regulated. Not necessarily.
Okay.
But these centralized players who are in this market, like the exchanges, Binance, FTX, Coinbase, must be subject to regulation, because they bring a human element into what you would call a trustless, decentralized system, where they envision no human being taking charge. That's where the market manipulation comes in. I've given you an example. If you have a big exchange like Binance, because remember, some of these exchanges, they have wallets, like you and me, if you want to trade. Only their wallets are bigger because they have many people who give them money to buy crypto. Okay? So you imagine someone conjures up a fake exchange, and his intention is to drive up the price, to do what you call pump and dump schemes. You pump the price, you create so many rumors on social media, and by the way, the price manipulation of crypto is subject to social media talk, hype. Someone like, and Elon Musk did it at some point. He took to Twitter and said, no, this coin is going to go up, and everyone bought.
Okay.
Now you imagine you have this exchange whose intention is to manipulate price, just that, and Tether did it at some point.
Okay.
you have this through their BFNX, I think they are called BFNX exchange. You have this exchange whose intention is to go out there, manipulate the price, and then once they realize that maybe they have reached the highest price they can ever reach, they decide to cash out artificially.
Okay.
The volume, the impact that withdrawal of money or that sell-off can have, it means the price can go down drastically.
Okay.
Overnight.
Overnight. Wow.
And then whoever cashed in at the point thinking that the price is going to continue going up is left to handle the worst bits of that market.
Okay.
So going back to your question, what negotiations can we have with these exchanges? I'm reliably informed that Binance wants to make a triumphant re-entry into the Ugandan market.
Okay.
But already under our laws in Uganda state that the money laundering laws at least, not the laws that regulate cryptocurrency, no, the money laundering aspects.
Yes.
They stipulate that if you're a virtual asset service provider, you're supposed to register with the Financial Intelligence Authority as an accountable person.
Okay.
So you're supposed to file returns to show who owns shares in your exchange, they know your customer requirements, but it only deals with the money laundering aspects.
Okay.
It may not go so far enough to determine the prudential requirements, like do you have enough money to back the tokens you claim to have issued? Do you have enough reserves that in the event that people want to cash out, these reserves are adequate? Then what are your liabilities? The anti-money laundering aspects will not dive so deep.
Okay.
So that in Uganda, how far can government go? Well, for money laundering, they have already a legal framework.
Okay.
But the last I checked, few exchanges had registered with. I think so. It's just our local exchanges that are registered with Financial Intelligence Authority. I think so. It's only yellow card.
Okay.
I think in Uganda here we have yellow card.
Yellow card.
And yellow card, I think, is not just a Ugandan thing. It has a global aspect to it, a global footing. But it's so much in Uganda.
Okay.
But they comply with the Financial Intelligence Authority for money laundering purposes.
Oh, strictly money laundering.
Strictly money laundering purposes.
Yeah.
But when it comes to these other aspects of do you have enough reserves? Are the tokens you have issued out there securities? Because under our capital markets laws, the security is defined. Now, the other issue that takes me back to FTX. If you look at the FTT token that they issued, the FTX exchange, they were cautious because the US laws are very strict on what is a security and what is not. They were careful to structure it in such a way that they go around the laws of what is a security and what is not a security.
Okay.
What they did is, once you buy the token, what they give you is that they did not give you ownership rights in the exchange, but they give you trading discounts. Now that you're going to the exchange and you have those tokens, they give you maybe you buy Bitcoin at this discount, buy Bitcoin at that kind of discount.
Okay. Yeah.
And then if the value goes up, it also meant that, according to their legal documents, that the exchange could buy out that token and give you liquid money.
Liquid money. Okay.
So that is the arrangement. So they were keen not to make it amount to a security according to the US laws. But when you go to the international exchange in Bahamas, that technicality was not really catered for.
Oh, that's now something really to take note of.
You see? You find on that exchange, now for Ugandans who were trading on FTX International, they listed all sorts of things. And most of those things were securities. Under our laws, they were securities, by the way. Because they're listing derivatives, they're listing all that. But because our regulators, we don't caution anyone. And FTX was heavily being promoted.
But do you think there were signs before it collapsed?
There were signs that, how can I? And I don't want to use the benefit of hindsight. But yeah, there were signs.
Why wasn't there some sort of, a foresight? Because there are always anticipations. Like currently we see, let me just give you a small example. Yesterday Amazon was laying off workers. And it all portrayed back when, of course, we saw the way it was performing on the stocks. I mean, there is a really shutdown. So if I'm investing in Amazon, I have my stocks, I'll know what to do in such a time, because such news. Maybe people just didn't take this information so serious.
The red flags were there, but were not taken so seriously. That's true.
let's get into a commercial break. We are going to get into a break as we return. We're already into the time of the break. All right. Of course, coming after the break, we shall be discussing the aspect of the red flags, how to get to understand if the crypto market is that cryptocurrency is about to probably face doom, and also most importantly, we shall get to understand if you're trading crypto, how best can you know that actually this currency is not manipulated? Like we've seen currencies being manipulated, the value is being put up, down, and before you know it, the stakeholders are cashing out, and you lose quite lots amounts of money. This and more coming up after the break.